All right, everyone. It is another day, Sunday, January 9th, 41 degrees in good old Kitsap County. I hope everyone has had a good weekend. It was definitely a historic weekend, you know. Shout out to Judge Flood, Tracy Flood. Definitely want to give her a horn. Definitely an honor to witness that in person and to be there. That was definitely a special event. So definitely excited about that. Uh, so we're going to get into it tonight. As you know, and some of you caught that event live. We were on location. Unfortunately, the Wi-Fi there was not what we were hoping for, so the video didn't come out as good as we wanted. However, we did have some secondary recording devices going, so we're going to edit that information, the audio part, and cut it into smaller sections so you can, catch the event. So definitely historic. One of the cool things about this year, as we continue to do more things, is we are adding to what we've got going on here at the conduit. So we're going to be adding some new things to hopefully make it easier to do, make it more pleasing for you to see as you listen or participate. And so different things have been coming in. And as you know, I unboxed a new camera the other day. And today the controller for that camera came in. So this is the camera here that we're talking about, the PTZ camera, which many churches or conference rooms will use, right? And so what's pretty awesome about this camera here is it comes with a really nice remote. Go ahead and switch back to this view here. So it comes with this really nice remote here. The only catch is when you're starting to use these things and it's new, it's pretty audible when you're clicking. You can hear it when you're trying to turn the camera left or right, and then it moves pretty quickly. So got to figure out how to slow that down a little bit. But it's a great camera. Really pleased with how it performs. And for the most part, as long as we're not on location or somewhere else, this will probably be my regular podcasting camera. Definitely one, like if we're doing Layla and Daddy podcast and we're doing crafts and projects and things like that, it'd be easier to use that, so we don't have to have, all these different cameras everywhere. And then, of course, we have our wireless mics going now, so we don't have to have a microphone. We can get up and move around and not kind of trip over ourselves. So the hope is by getting the controller, we'll have more control over the camera, how fast it pans, and nice zoom in and zoom out, so people don't get a seizure while they're watching the podcast. So let's go ahead and jump into it. See what we got here. And so I hope you like the intro. That's not going to be the new intro. It's just if we go to a break or we need to work on some technical issues, trying to find some things to put in there. So that is the part of the scene there that you were watching if you tuned in right at the beginning. And of course, I love my jazz music and my classical music. But let's jump into this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and push this out the way. Get you out of here. All right. Well, you know what? This is a pretty scratchy shirt, so I better try to put this mic somewhere else because it's making a whole lot of noise. So forgive me for that. I'll try to clip it to myself here. It's making way too much noise for me, probably for you too. All right. Let's see how that works. No, that doesn't sound good either. All right. What I'll do is I'll put it here. It sounds like I'm still coming through pretty good. All right. yeah. I love opening new things. And if you remember, before I do open this, so all these accessories came with the PTZ camera. So I'll just kind of put these up over my shoulder here. So you can see this looks like a VGA cable and a 8-pin. I went over this the other day. This is to anchor it into the wall. Whoops, a little bit lower there. This here, I believe this green harness, which is it's got 4 slots. I believe this is to connect it to the controller, so it actually came with it. And we've got another cable here, looks like an HDMI to a micro HDMI. Looks like some more mounting screws, some tape, and some stickies. Here's the big bracket here, as you can see. And all of this stuff here came with the camera, not with the actual controller. So I wanted to make that clear, which is nice that the camera comes with many of the accessories so you don't have to worry about it. Now, what's interesting, now if I was more technologically savvy, in my research, apparently you can control this camera with an Xbox 360 controller, which is pretty phenomenal, you know. How you doing there, sir? Sorry I didn't call you back earlier, but I was in the middle of trying to set this stuff up. So again, definitely should read your manual, or we're gonna jump right into it. So, you know, we'll read that later. Let's see what else we got here. And then I'm going to try to keep this stuff separated so I don't mix it up. Looks like we've got the power adapter here. Looks pretty standard. Now, one of the things that I've done, let me get that back in the camera there. One of the things that I've done is I have a bunch of different colored duct tape. And that is because of Miss Layla and all of her crafts. But it is also really helpful to color code all of these cords and things of that nature. So when you're running multiple cameras and, you know, it's really easy to get confused by the wires, you know, putting a little strip of color on there can help tremendously. So here you can see I've got a little bit of purple tape here on the back of, go down a little bit. Where am I? Boom, boom. Where's my camera at? It might be a little dark. I'll just show you here. You know, you can see it there. So I just have a little bit of purple duct tape there. And that lets me know that this is the, you know, the purple microphone. And so since these wireless microphones come in a pair, I can make one purple and one lavender. And I actually have 2 pair. And so the other ones can be like a light green and dark green. So then I can tell all 4 mics apart and I know where people are, right? And so I can do that same thing with the cameras, you know. So I know that camera 3 is going to be the fireplace. I know that camera 4 is, or camera 1, which is moved now. So this is, I actually have this hooked up. Ooh, I probably shouldn't do that manually. That's horrible and it sounded bad too. Let me go ahead and show you that. So this is camera 1. And so I do have the PTZ camera connected now so that we can unbox it together. Camera 2 is the Canon M50 that is behind us. That's one of the original cameras from when we started the podcast. So, you know, as you learn and you do your research, you know, you continue to kind of change and add things, and sometimes you don't find out the limitations of things until you're actually using it over and over again. The Canon M50 camera is a fantastic camera. It's a mirrorless camera, actual camera. The only issue with that camera is it doesn't have a clean HDMI out. So, you know, you would have all of the information on the screen. And so, you know, also these cameras tend to shut off after a certain amount of time. So or the batteries die. So you need to have a pass through a dummy battery in order to keep it powered. And then beyond that, that camera also shuts down every 30 minutes. So if you were watching the conduit maybe 6 months ago, then what you would see is, let me go ahead and move this box here. So this is everything that is in the box. Looks like it's empty. Whoops. Get back to my camera 2 there so you can see what's happening. You know, my box is empty. And here's our controller. Comes in this red bag. Kind of a little unceremonious there. Ooh. Toys. Gotta love your toys. Boys and their toys. Ooh. So, but yeah, it cuts off every 30 minutes. So you have to hit a button on the Canon M50, and then you can use a video card. And we use both cam links, and these are the cam links here. I can go ahead and show you those. Let me go ahead and switch this back over here. Oops. So this is the cam link that we use. This is a video card to connect the M50. And then what that does is that gives you a clean HDMI out. Also, you can use the ATEM Blackmagic Mini Pro, which is what we are using right now, which is what enables me to have 4 cameras connected. And then I can just switch in between, and then you can see how it is fading out in between cameras. So that is the ability of having the Blackmagic, where the Cam Link only allows you to have the one device. This allows you to have, well, this model here allows you to have 4, right? They do have more expensive models, but we weren't going to go too crazy. All right, so kind of looking here at our FoMaKo, I believe that's how you say it. And what I'll do is, since I'm using this camera, let's go ahead and get it into place here and see if we can help to show it off. Go ahead and take a look at that. Oh, let's see. What's that? On camera 2, camera 1. Let's go ahead and zoom down a little bit. There we go. And you can see how loud that is every time I'm clicking, trying to get it into place. So not knowing, you know, it could be a situation where once the buttons get worn in a bit, it won't make that noise anymore. But that was another reason why I wanted the joystick. Is my assumption would be that the joystick is tired and not quiet. And I didn't see any reviews or comments on the remote control having these issues, right? So again, let's go ahead and just kind of zoom in here. Let's see what we can see. Which one is the best one? So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to having the joystick. The drawbacks clearly are, one, this thing is huge. So if you only have so much real estate on your table, this is this is the width of a laptop. So usually when I'm on location, I have 2 laptops because I have a backup running in case the feed drops. I want to make sure that the live feed at least continues to go, even if it's choppy. But now you've got this on the table, plus you've got the Blackmagic. So, it's starting to get a little bit cumbersome. But what I like about, this particular camera, regardless of which one you're using, is these are really designed for large spaces. So if you're in a conference room, if you're in a church, a lot of churches use the PTZ camera. You can catch the entire audience. You can, scroll back and forth, zoom in and out. So you can catch the audience. You can catch, the people that are putting on the event, zooming in on each individual, or do a really wide shot and get everything, which is great. And so if it's just, you or a few other people, this is a great option for you. So again, you can use the remote, kind of just talking about the, comparing and contrasting is, look, I don't need to have this on the table. This really takes up no room. I can throw it in my pocket, whatever, and I still have full control of this device. But again, my issue is, can I slow this down? It gets a little fast. And I even kind of noticed that when we were shooting Tracy Flood's event, Judge Flood's, and then the button clicks. So right now, don't like this, right? And if you want to do it slower, that would drive people crazy. It's probably driving you crazy now. And so here, just if you're looking here, let me zoom out. I'm manipulating the joystick here. There's a button here, a little bit of a click there, but you click it once and then you've got your control, and you're not hearing anything, right? This is your tight to wide, so this is your zoom, and this is pressure sensitive, so you're going to be able to zoom in slower, more gradually, which I like. Here, this is going to let you go up, down, left, right. And then this has a wide and then a tele, which I need to see what that means. What else do we have here? We've got autofocus, camera OSD, and autofocus auto, AE auto, which I need to read on that. Home, function 1, function 2. So whatever you see here, you're going to also have here, so you can set presets. So if you were to hit a button, it'll dial in. So let's say, well, we use a church as an example. So maybe it's going to zoom in on the preacher. Then you want it to pan over to the choir. Then you want it to pan out onto the entire pulpit. Then maybe you wanted to zoom in on the congregation, and then you wanted to zoom out on everyone in the church, however it looks. So you can set these presets and then go ahead and just key it in, and then boom, boom, boom. So that is very helpful if you're in a static environment, and you're gonna not have to worry about it. Take a look at the back here, and we can see we've got this green piece hanging out. And I remember when we got the camera, this came with the actual camera. So the housing to plug it in is there, which is awesome. We've got Ethernet. We've got looks like that VGA input. This is our DC 12 volt, and then our power on and off. So not much to connect it. So let's go ahead and do that. This cord is pretty short. I got to find an outlet that I can plug into. Let's see. So yeah, it is a nice toy, I like my toys. I mean, there's so many things I still need to learn how to use them all. And it'll be fun to get some other folks that want to get into production. So if you're interested in that, producing these shows and learning how to use these things, might be a great way to volunteer and get some great experience. Because I don't know exactly where I could go to learn all this stuff. I just gotta watch videos and read and trial and error. Now, I usually like to hook things up before I power it on. So in retrospect, I would have done that, but it's like, well, I clearly know where that plug goes. Go ahead and plug this in. It's kind of funny to see an old VGA pin. That's what it looks like. It may not be the same, so I wouldn't recommend trying to sub it out. Plus, the other end is definitely different. The other really cool thing is on the remote, you can run, you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, where it's got camera selector. So you can run 4 cameras on the remote. And so my assumption is you are going to also be able to run 4 cameras on the controller, which is great. And we probably will add to our cameras at some point in time. I'm going to plug my piece in here. And I see on the top of this, it's got an arrow that says left and right. All All right, so I got that plugged in. This here, you know what? Maybe this cable didn't come with this device here. Might have just been laying there. I don't really see anything else to plug in aside from a green. I don't know where that goes. Let's open up our book. Now it gives you some precautions. What's the function of the cam num when add a network device? What's really cool too is, from what I understand, these cameras can stream directly to the internet. You can give them their own IP address, which is pretty phenomenal. So again, if you're in a static place and it's just going to sit there for you to use it, you probably want to give it a static IP address. 4-dimensional up, down, left, right, joystick control, and a clock, zoom, and telewide. It has an LCD. It's got a prompt, button sound prompts off and on. The power consumption is 0.6 watts, if that is important to you. Tells you where you should store it. So let me go ahead and turn this back around, and we'll just go over really quickly what these buttons do. All right, so the autofocus, that kind of goes without saying. Set the camera in autofocus mode with this button. It will light up when the camera is in manual focus. AE audio, auto aperture button. Set the camera in automatic aperture mode with this button. It will light up when the camera is in manual aperture. Camera OSD is camera OSD button, call, close the camera. Okay. Home, which is there. Let's see. The camera will back to home position if camera OSD is off. While when the camera OSD is called out, the home button is confirm function of the camera OSD. So kind of seems like the home button, really. F1 and F2, custom function buttons, custom function for the IP modes that you can set up. Setup is set up the controller, local setting buttons, modify and view local settings. The search button, search for all available devices with on ONVIF protocol. So I don't know what that protocol is. Inquire is to check added devices. WBC mode is auto white balance button. Set the camera in auto white balance mode. It will light up when the camera is manual white balance mode. So that's going to have to do with how your image looks. Cam 1 through 4, as I said, you can connect 4 cameras, 4 PTZ cameras to this. So if you've got a huge church or conference room or wherever you're going to be producing your videos or your live streams, you can control all 4 with one device, which is great. And then, of course, your presets will allow you to short press to set presets, long press to delete presettings. Needs to work with the number keys and the enter button for setting and deleting. The call button, which is right here, call preset button, it needs to work with the number keys and enter button. The IP, manual add network device button, manually add a network device only in ONVIF. The cam, which is right here below. Again, that's for the IP VISCA modes. It will quickly switch to the cam num bound device with adding a device via the cam. Okay, so those things seem really kind of technical that I'll get into later. Like a lot of things, I typically don't use probably half of what a device can do. That's definitely true of my smartphone. Hey, that's true of my earbuds. So, I was watching a YouTube video on the AirPods, and they were talking about all these different things that you could do with the AirPods. It's like, okay, I just needed to work when I'm in the gym, answer the phone, things of that nature. But you can give commands and all kinds of really cool things. So it's like, oh, it's noise canceling, or you could pass through the audio, and it's like, oh, I didn't know it could do all that. But I guess for how much they cost, I guess they better, huh? All right, so there's a web page configuration. You can go to the home page and connect a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to try to see if I can connect this just kind of right out the box and see if it will work. If not, then I'm going to have to, obviously get into it. You can go to www.FoMaKo.net, and I'm sure they'll walk you through the whole thing. And of course, I always recommend watching videos, as that will make it a lot easier to do there. All right, so let's see. So let me sure this isn't tape here. Pull that off. Looks like the IP address is already displaying. I probably shouldn't put on the screen, but it is already on there. All right, so that is the on button there. So I'm not sure what this is for. So I have to figure that out. And it's on the back here, it has 5 and not 4. So that'll be interesting to see. Whoops, sorry about that. So let's see if this is already set up, or do I need to do something to get it set up? It looks like I may have to do something to get it set up. Open, close, near, far. Set up, delete device. It is off by a day. Actually, it is set for January 8th. So I don't want to delete it. Inquire. So I'm going to grab the remote for the camera and see what I would need to do. And what I'll do is I'll record some pieces of me walking through this. I won't bore you with trying to teach myself how to use it. But I did want to open it up and kind of show it to you for folks that are interested in thinking about getting into it. Let me show you here a couple of things so you know what we have. All right. So I'm going to show you. So, I purchased these items from Amazon. Unfortunately, the Evil Beast does have everything, so it's hard to kind of go anywhere else and get what you need or what you may need. So you got to get it from somewhere. So Amazon is where we get it. And I showed this the other day. I'll show you the camera. And so this is the camera here, right? This is what you were seeing on the screen. You can see the remote there. You can roll over the image to get more info. And it will give you all the details there. HDMI, 20 times optical zoom, MP4 capture, 1080 pixels. And then it lets you know a little bit about the item. And like I said, listening to the reviews or watching the reviews, a lot of good information there. Of course, like this actually is a pretty good deal right here. But not knowing what you're getting into, it's like, okay, I'll start with one. And so this is what I ended up getting, was the PTZ and the controller. And you can see that this is what, $709. So sometimes, they'll bundle things together. So take a look, because it's not often a deal, right? And they try to catch you on bundling, but it's really not. It's not a deal. So if it's $709 and you get one in the controller, if you add $709 to this to get two, well, it's actually, you're saving $9. Like, really? So yeah, no, you're not fooling me. And then here's the controller. And again, FoMaKo is the maker there, the manufacturer. And that's just what I unboxed. And you can see it's got that Ethernet connectivity that allows you to control it, support 4 cameras, quick select max control. And there again is the deal, right? Which is interesting because isn't this more than what it was on the other page? Like this is $17.98 for the 2 here. And then let's go here and scroll down, $1,900. So now that's interesting, right? So maybe it's on sale right now. It's like, maybe I should go in there and buy that. I mean, it's about $100 off. I mean, it's not like a whole lot, but it's not bad. Now, this is what I'm using actually. So that's kind of cool that this is kind of popped up as a suggestion. So I actually have the Blackmagic here. Let me go ahead and click into that. And it's the Mini Pro. That is what I'm using now. Well, this is just the Mini. I have the next one up from this. And that is what allows you to switch the cameras. So that's what I'm using there. And so if you have, the 4 cameras that you're controlling, right, then you can go ahead and switch your views there. And that's what I'm using there. Whoops. Of course, that might help if you could actually see that, right? Let me go ahead and switch myself back in there. Now you can see it in the corner, but that is what I'm using, right? That's how I'm switching back and forth. Is this a new shirt? No, this one isn't a new shirt. But it is purple. You know how it goes, right? All right, I think this is the Mini Pro. Let's go ahead and click back on that one. Let's take a look. Oops. All right, so this one is the ATM Mini Pro. So yeah, this is the one that I'm using now. This is what I have my hands on right now. And as you can see, this has the 4 HDMI inputs in the back. And so I literally have 4 cameras connected. So this is camera 1. If you're looking in the bottom left-hand corner, here's what I'll do. Change it over here. So it's camera 1, camera 2, camera 3, and camera 4. Right. And looking at the back, this is camera 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this is HDMI out. So right now I have this connected to one of my monitors that I'm looking at, so I can actually see what each camera is showing, right? What's awesome too is, although I won't use it in that way, you can also use this to stream directly out. So this device has the capability of doing that. And then additionally, it has the ability to record. So, and this can also run your audio. It's got picture-in-picture, which is pretty cool. And you can see the picture-in-picture up in the upper right-hand corner here. And so I can move that around. So if you have some text that's scrolling, or you've got your banners, or you're using your lower thirds, it's not in the way, which is awesome. Or many times your logos on your upper right hand side, you can move that around, which is pretty cool. So you can turn that on and off. And how you go from one camera to the next, right? That's a top down. So you have some options there where you can get kind of fancy, kind of a left to right, changing it in that way. That one's kind of cool, kind of an old school one, right? Was that like a flipping a page? It might be like flipping a page. And then I'm using a mix. It just kind of has, mixing the first image with the image that you're going to. I actually like that one. So, probably use that one pretty often, but that one is my favorite one. So yeah, that's what I'm using. Um, and this is what we use when we're on location, actually. So we have our ATEM Mini Black Magic, which is what we're using. And then we have a PodTrack 4, which we use. But we may not, well, we may still use that to have our backup mics because we do like our other mics. But you can add the wireless mics to it also. As you can see, this mic is, I'm a lot clearer because it's right in my mouth, but this is sitting on the table away from me, and you can still hear me. So it just happens to be a really scratchy shirt. So, clipping it to this isn't great. But another really cool thing about this is if you look at the top here, let me go ahead and zoom back in. I'll go ahead and get rid of this. And I'll go ahead and get rid of, let me go back here. If you look here, this happens to have a microphone jack at the top. Whoops, there we go. So you can plug a lavalier mic, right? And so this comes with the belt clip. So you can clip it onto your belt or somewhere else, right? And then go ahead and run your lavalier mic up your shirt and then pin it to your collar there. And that will hopefully help with, if you got on a scratchy shirt, but this just happens to be like super starched. So that's why it sounds like that. But yeah, these are really good mics, actually. So definitely pleased with these. Yeah, it is pretty cool. So of course, there's a learning curve and learning how to use it all and putting it all together. But once we're able to do that, definitely looking forward to, just upping the quality of the shows that we produce and being able to do more. When you're kind of running everything all at once, you're typing, you're the tech person, you're hosting the show, you're doing all these different things. It's a lot. So, and then as I said, as we kind of go on during the year, we'll have multiple shows coming up. So we want to make sure that we are, if there are other people that are running shows through the conduit, that we can make it as easy as possible for them, because there is a learning curve for sure. As you know, the Martin Luther King event will be coming up here in 7 days, a week from today, 12 p.m. I believe that is that show time. Let me check to make sure so that I am not giving out bad information here. And that should be really good. I'm looking at the agenda here, but I probably should not say what the agenda is because I don't have permission to talk about who the guest speakers are or who the keynote is. I can tell you there's 2 keynote speakers, which would be pretty awesome. And so Bainbridge Island is putting this event on. So a shout out to Okuye and all the other folks that are hosting this event. And let me see if I can see. I don't want to give you the wrong date, but I'm pretty sure it is next Sunday at noon. Just want to make sure I am correct on that. But again, if you are subscribed to the channel, then you will already have the reminder for it, right? So if you don't, take some time now to subscribe, and then also click on the reminders so that you get a reminder for any show that might come up. And let's see. I get a lot of emails from Okuye. There's quite a few in here. It's funny because it'll be quiet, and then she'll hit me with like 6 or 7 of them, and it's not like, hey, it's like information, Yep, January 16th at noon. January 16th at noon. So yes, please go ahead and set your reminder for that. Again, subscribe, like and share. Let people know. Well, that was an accident. I'm hoping you can actually hear our music. As I was recording our intro, couldn't hear it. So I'm hoping you can hear it now. Let's see. Yeah, see, it's not playing. I don't know why that is not playing right now. Let's see. Interesting. It's not playing. See, something that happens all the time. Now all of a sudden, that's not working. So you got to figure it out. Trial and error. That's how it goes. But I will leave you with our new Be Right Back music. Tell me what you think of this. All right, everyone. That is our ending music. Well, not our ending music. It's our Be Right Back music. There's technical difficulty. You need a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. Got to use the bathroom. Something's happening. But that's what that is for. We'll be, creating some new things as we go forward and we learn new things. Give us some feedback. Let us know what you like, what we should change, how we can improve. I am R1 Cameron. This is The Conduit. I hope that you have a very productive week. And we will see you tomorrow again for our regularly scheduled shows. 1 p.m., we will be talking about health. And then 3 p.m., Bremerton Housing Authority and KCR. So have a good week.